Okay, this is the second video for today. It's still April the 1st. No, November the 1st. I mean April. November the 1st, 2024. And I'm Rick Florence. And I didn't say this before on the other one, but please like and subscribe. Even if you don't want to subscribe, if you can like it. Now, I know you have to be a member of YouTube or a Rumble in order to be able to like the videos. I've got to figure out, I'm going to have, I think I want to do is, I'm going to create a Telegram group. I have one out there. There is a Telegram group on the system called Salons of Spirit, but there's no, I don't have any members in it. So I think I'll do that. And I'll put it on the next video or something, or I'll put it in the description of the video and start letting y'all know about that Telegram group, because in case you don't want to be a member of YouTube or Rumble, and you can communicate with me and maybe some of the other people that way, and because I'd be happy to listen. Now, people start sending me advertisements and soliciting all this kind of stuff on the thing, and I'll be kicking them off. So we'll see how that goes. That's always a problem that anybody doing this sort of thing has. Once they open them up, it's like once they find out about you, you get gazillions of spam. And that's so far. I only had one person comment about content, and the other people are, "Oh, you're so wonderful. Boy, man, we just thought you're the great videos. Man, it's super great. We want to help you spread the word about your wonderful videos and stuff." So anyway, all right. So let's talk about a word. This is a continuing our word time thing. Let's talk about a word of left and right. We have left and we have right. Okay, and that's what we use in a political spectrum. So what does that mean? Well, if you look at any population, you have a it's like a bell curve, like this, right? That's what they want you to think about. And this is left, and this is right. Okay, so this is a management tool. They are managing us. They're trying to manage us and control our thinking and move us how they want to. So what's really happening is, since I was young, is this right here is moving that way. So over here, they say, "Oh, that's extremist." Well, I don't even know if I can see if that's in there. I will just tell you what, this is extremist. Now, the problem with the word extremist is it's relative. This word is relative to your own thoughts and what you think is extreme. There's no line in the sand to saying, okay, anything past this is extremist. They just throw that out there and then make you think, well, basically, if they're extremists, they're crazy. Well, what do you mean extremists by whose standard? And will you define your standard, please? No, they won't do that. They just want to say extremists. They want you to you don't want to be labeled. So I shouldn't hit that microphone. You don't want to be labeled extremist. It's bad. That's like a social stigma, which is a really strong tool, is stigma, social stigmas. So, but really, what does this mean? Over here, they want lots of government. Lots of government. And over here, they want less government. Less government. So you might say, okay, over here on the best far out here, you might have libertarians. They don't want any. So, well, depending on the libertarians, they don't want any government. That's kind of the definition. This is the wrong way of looking at it. But this is the tool that they use to move that center this direction, to more government. That's where they want you. They move it. So as they move this center, what's in the center this way, all this goes with it. So everything that we consider right or conservative, they call it conservative, which is kind of weird. But you got right and left, and they're doing that. I would look overseas and they say, well, they're left and they're right. I don't even know if it's the same thing in England. It's pretty crazy. This is not the way we should be looking at it. We should not ever look at it this right and left way, although it's hard to get out of it. What we should be doing is looking at it like this. It should be a curve that's just going like this. Okay, and then we have an axis over here. And we have an axis over here. My pen is wearing out. Oh, it's not dark. I need to get a different one. Okay, and we should say this is less government. And this is total government. This is like dictatorship, communism. This is dictatorship, communist. That kind of thing. That's the difference. So what's really going on here, let me see if this other pen works better. Yep, there's another one. Let's see if it's going to work. So, you know, in this case, I did it right, left is over here with the left government. But if we reverse this graph, then it would be the other way. But typically, we write our things like this, where it goes that direction. And I guess what we can do, let's just reverse it. Let's go ahead and do that. And I got a better, maybe that's pen, this new one will write better. All right, let's start over here. Yeah, it's working a lot better. This is right. This is left. I guess I hate to, my mom's left-handed, so I hate to say it's left, but anyway, and then we draw the chart like that. So this is less government, and this is the amount of government. Amount of government. More, less. All right, so left wants more, and right wants less. That's the way we should be looking at this. But they look at it with that bell curve, and then they keep moving the whole thing to the left. Basically to more totalitarian. And why is that? Well, one of the things is when you start passing laws, and that's your job to pass laws, they don't seem to figure out that, well, we don't need any new laws this session. Let's just let it go and sit. Well, you know what? For every law we're going to create, we're going to go get rid of one. We ought to allocate a certain number of laws, and that's it. But that won't work, but that'd be nice. But they ought to have, every law that gets passed should have an expiration on it. I don't know about certain levels of crime like rape and that kind of stuff. We don't really need a limitation on that. But any other laws that aren't, there's no reason we couldn't sit down and hammer out, this makes sense, these are perpetual laws, or semi-perpetual, because we talked about that word, right? So you have more and you have less, and you have left and right. That's the way we need to look at this. We don't need to look at it with the bell curve, because they just keep moving the middle. And over here, you've got, different stages. So you might have left, and this would be the dictatorship. You know what? Maybe I can write it a little differently. I can write it like this. Like let's say it's right here. This is dictatorship. And maybe we might even say it's totally, these guys are total rulers, complete, have no freedom whatsoever. And you have more freedom over here, but you have more government and less government. And you can even do the same thing about rights and freedoms and that kind of stuff. And you got dictator, and you've got communism, right? And actually, I would almost think that this would be even worse, because you have no rights at all. And there's not a specific guy usually. I mean, there's a leader of like in the Soviet Union, there was a Politburo, but they committee of people passed laws and stuff and ran everything. And a dictator, like the old days, a king could just say, "I don't like you, chop your head off," and they'd do it to a degree. But even back in the feudal times, they had a responsibility. The king and the lord of the land, lord of the manor, had obligations. To the people at large. That was their job, is to take care of them. And I think that has to do with the Kali Yuga to some degree. Then we got socialism. And then you got and you have democracies in here too. Probably I put democracy up here at the top. There's nobody responsible. The government. They say the government does this. The government doesn't do anything. The employees that work in the government are the ones that are doing it. And everybody wants to sue the government. Why don't we sue the guy who did it? And it doesn't matter whether or not they say, oh, well, boss told me to do it. That's not an excuse. Boss didn't tell you. It doesn't matter if he tells you to do it. If that's going to be an excuse, then the question is, well, what level of crime can you commit that the boss told you that's okay? I mean, you can murder people. That's what they, Nuremberg trials after World War II, they went after and they did all kinds of stuff. But the bottom line is that they, just because the boss said do it, then as an order, is insufficient for defense. And then you go over here and you've got libertarian, right? Or actually, you could say no government. This is anarchy, anarchist. No, at all. So we'll do this and anarchy. All right, so anarchy, and that's these kids. They're in these, with the Black Lives Matter and all the other stuff. The anarchists. They want we want anarchy. We want anarchy. I mean, if they lived under anarchy, they'd all be dead. Because what would have happened if they got their anarchy way and they started doing shit like that, tearing up people's property? They could come out there and shoot them. Who's going to put the guy in jail that shot you because you tore his property up? If it's anarchy, but they got their wish, they'd be dead. They're just dumb. So we need to look at things like this, in a more, not so much left and right, just even get rid of that term altogether. And we say total government and no government. Right? There we go. And before the Constitution was signed, we were sitting up here, dictator, king, this kind of thing. Now, they were migrating that way. When they, and if you go back, like, for example, when the Magna Carta was signed, we were over this way further. The signing of the Magna Carta moved it that direction, or down the line, right? To have more freedom. So they gave some rights that were inviolable. And if you read the Declaration of Independence, it's full of stuff about the law of the land and that the things that they were doing in terms of quartering soldiers and houses and you ought to read the Declaration of Independence. It's short. It's not long. And read it. And if you read it and then you start understanding it, you can get involved in the conversation and you can learn something. And if we don't learn, we're not going to have a country. The country's all going to change. It probably is going to anyway, because I think it was kind of too late, but maybe not. We'll see. I think it's amazing. I think the whole thing with the yugas is really, really getting to be a cool thing that people are learning about, the yugas. So anyway, left and right, or really total government, no government, and then where do we fall in the line? So now when we talk about, well, this guy's position is this, he's going to be moving one way or the other, but with the line's not moving. With the bell curve, they want to move the whole thing to the left. That's the goal, and that's why they throw out left and right. Left and right of what? Well, you're going to be left or right of the center. Well, what's the center? Oh, well, we just moved the center, and then all those right people are going to be on the left, because that's the way it is now. We're a lot more left than we used to be. And the problem with that is you got a pendulum, and it swings back and forth. And now it's already, DEI is going away. I mean, people, company after company are trying to, oh shit, we got to get rid of this thing. But I want to see them get rid of the people who implemented that crap in the first place. And we shouldn't allow these big investment funds to invest in these corporations, because they're in controlling them. They're going in and they're controlling them. So if you put money in BlackRock or some other company to invest your money, what happens is they take your money and everybody else's debt, puts their money in that pot, and then they control the corporations that they invest in the stock. The money that you have in your retirement goes into their hands, and they have so much because they basically created a mob of power from all these people's stock that they are actually being proxies for, and they're controlling the companies. That's the game that's being played, but in some ways. So this is a short one. We're only going to be 15 minutes. Isn't that amazing? A 15-minute one. So I'll talk to you guys later. Please subscribe, like, and all that good stuff. Everybody knows the drill, and I would really appreciate it. And another thing is, just forward this, some of this. If you think it's interesting, if you think there's kids out there, young people, there's even some older people that ought to learn some of these things. But we've got to get our education and our people's knowledge up. Less knowledge about football and more knowledge about government. That's what we really need. And I know there's just the younger people are thirsting for it. There's a lot of videos out there, kids getting on there and saying stuff. But the problem with young people is they don't know a lot of things. You've seen a lot of kids out there saying stuff and they just don't understand. They think they do. And because I remember growing up, by the time I got to 21 and I realized, well, my parents know a whole lot more stuff than I thought they did. They're a lot smarter than I thought. That's because my mind wasn't 100% developed yet. An 18-year-old's not a grown-up. I don't care what they say. The only reason that they want 18-year-olds to be an adult is because they want to use them in the military. And an 18-year-old is just going to be drilled into them to do orders, follow orders, do whatever they say, and don't think about what you're doing. And when you get to be in your mid-20s, once your mind is fully mature, you start thinking about, well, maybe I shouldn't blow the head off of those people, the little innocent people. We shouldn't drop a bomb when there's people in the middle of that thing. We need to get them out of the way, or whatever we need to do. But there'd be a lot more thinking about things before they just did whatever the Army tells them to do. And so we really need to get back to 21 years old being an adult, not 18. We could have a special category between 18 to 21, and somebody is, it's by the crime. I mean, if you're a kid, you just do something stupid, that's one thing. But if you plot out and kill somebody, that's another thing altogether. A 12-year-old knows not to murder somebody. But we just have a flat number. But 18 years old, you're an adult. Well, that didn't work out so good with some things like driving and drinking and things like that. So anyway, if you'll forward these things, that's good. I sure would like to have some comments so you guys ask questions. If you want something for me to cover, I'll be happy to do that. And I will go set up that Telegram group, and I will put it in some of the description boxes for these videos. So if you want to comment and you don't want to be a member of those two organizations, you can still, ask some questions and that sort of thing. And we're going to expand it. We'll keep expanding it. And things have been really busy. I helped working on the septic system. That was loads of fun. I don't like working on septic systems. I had to do that. And got that working. And I'm working on a log splitter. Fix that. And I work on my wife's computer systems and stuff. So I get to jump all over the place doing all kinds of stuff. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll talk to you another time. Bye-bye.